everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be discussing about the planning module in Odoo 16. Planning is actually an inevitable part of every business. Not only in business, in everything we do, planning is necessary. Inside Odoo 16, we have a module called the planning module. Here in the planning module, we are actually scheduling shifts based on roles, resources, sale order, and so on. All these plannings can be shown in detail inside the planning module. We have different kinds of views like the Gantt view, calendar view, list view, graph view, pivot view, and so on. This module actually gives a complete idea of the shifts which are being created and assigned to different people. Without wasting any time, let's get into the module and see what all things we can do inside the planning module. Planning module, which is based on the calendar operations, helps you to plan the project and activities that aim at fulfilling the goals of the company. The role, resources, shifts, and operations schedules can be created, managed, and monitored using the planning module. Let us look at the features and functions that the module has to offer in brief. For that, let's open the planning module. So this is the planning module here. Okay, so the first thing which you see once you open the planning module is the Gantt view of schedule by resource. This page offers different other views like the calendar view, the list view, the Kanban view, pivot view, and graph view. So this is actually the schedules which are based on the resources. So if you click on the schedule menu, you can see by resource, by role, by project, and by sale order. So you can filter it, or you will get a filtered view based on all these things. So currently we'll be talking about schedule by resource. So here you can see the schedule, which is the dates. So currently this is arranged in a way that it shows the data based on a week. So if you want to change it to a day, you can see that. So you will get the schedules which are for a day. Okay, if it's today, you'll get the shifts or schedules for this day. And if you want to see it based on a month, you can choose that from here. So this will be the corresponding view, to a month. And here you have the option to make it year. Okay, so we'll put it in week itself. Okay, now here on the left side, you have the resources. So resources are basically the employees or, the people. Okay, so as you can see, laptop, it is also a resource. In every cases, not only people are the resources, you have such, items as well. So here you can see the resources. So if you just take the case of Abigail Peterson, you can see all the shifts which are assigned to Abigail Peterson. Okay, so these are the shifts on each day, what the times and all can be scheduled here. And on the top, you can see open shift. So these are the shifts which are not yet assigned to anyone. Okay, this is open and anyone who is free can take this shift and, assign it to themselves. And if you click on any of the column, you can see the plus icon here. So by clicking on the plus icon, you can create a new shift. So I'll go to Abigail Peterson and here you can see a plus icon. Clicking on that. And here you have the option to add a shift. Okay, so you can see for the resource, there are two other shifts. So here the resource is Abigail Peterson. The role of Abigail Peterson is a consultant. Okay, so the job or the designation is basically, said as the role. So she's a consultant, and if you want to add the project to which she is working, you can add it from here. And if you want to add any kind of sale order item, or that can be added here. And for this to get repeated, you have to check the checkbox. And if you want to save it as a template, then also you have to check the checkbox, save as template. Now here, you have the option to set the date. So from which day to which day, or from what time to what time, you can set it from here. So a time is there and the allocated time that can be seen here, and the company which is there. So you have the option to publish and send, publish it alone, and save it alone. So I'm going to save it. So as you can see, the shift has been added here. But there's a red thing here, which is because it's not yet published. So let's do one thing, open it, edit it. Okay, let's publish and send it. Okay. You can see two other shifts are in conflict. That is, she has the same, two other shifts are under the same time. That's the reason why this red thing came. Okay. So That's it. That's how you schedule a shift corresponding to a resource. Okay. So that's it. And then you have the open shifts here. So if you open any one of the open shift and click on edit, you can see resource is not yet assigned to this particular shift. The time, date and all is set, but the resource is not set. So from here, you can choose the resource. So I'll put Abigail Peterson and put save. So what happened? That shift went from there and reached into Abigail Peterson's column. Okay. So this is the schedule by resource. And here you have the option to add new. So click on new and you can add a shift here. And here you can see different, templates like 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. management, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. developer. Okay, similarly, you can save yours and use it. Okay. So here you can put, resource. So I'll put Anita Oliver. And the date and time can be set from here. So I'll put 12:30 to 21. Apply. Okay, so the time is set. And then I'm going to save it. So here you can see for Anita Oliver, a shift has been created. Okay. Then you have the option to see the previous week's shifts, next week's shift, and also today's shifts. Okay. So you have the copy previous week here. You can copy it. So the shift from the previous week has successfully been copied. So that will be copied to this week shift. And you have the option to publish the shifts. So the ones which are not yet published can be published here. So you have these much resources. We'll include open shifts as well and simply click on publish and send. So that will be sent. So you can see the schedule was successfully sent to your employees. And if you take a look, before we have such stripes on it because they were not yet published. But now all those stripes have been gone because every shift has been published. That is, mass publishing can be done from here. Okay. Now we have the filters, the group by and favorites here. So under filters, you have the open shift, my team and all. So you can simply click on the open shift, which shows all the open shifts here. Similarly, you have the option to see your shift, your team's shift and shifts corresponding to your department. And if you want to switch the shift, you can, click on request to switch. So such shifts can be seen here. And your roles, project, sale order, shift in conflict, employees on time off, no timesheet, human material, billable, non-billable, draft and published. Okay. Then you have to recent, future, next week, this week, tomorrow, today, yesterday, last week and past. So that's it. And then you have the group by option where you have the option to group it based on department. So as you can see, the management department, research and development department and so on. Then you have the option to group it based on manager, resource, role, sale order item, project, company, start date, end date, and also the option to add custom group. So these are the things which comes under filter and group by. Then we have the other view, which is the calendar view. So let's click on calendar view. This is the calendar view, which also shows the same thing. So here on the left side, you can see the resources. Okay. So the resources can be seen here and the role can be seen here. Okay. Roles such as the software engineer, IT technician, management, functional tester, developer, consultant, all those things comes under roles. And resources are, as I said, the employees themselves can be denoted as resources. And here you have the calendar. Similarly, you have these buttons which you saw in the Gantt view. So this is actually based on a month. You can change it to day, week or year and you can mass publish it from here. Then you have the option to plan orders. Okay, the sale order has been successfully assigned. So sale orders can be, assigned corresponding to the shifts, okay, or the schedules. So as you can see, these are the shifts. And if you want to publish it as we did before, you can do that from here by clicking the publish button. Then here we have filters alone, where you have the same options which you found in the Gantt view. Next, we have the list view. So under list view, you have the list view of the same, where you'll get the resource, role, project, sale order item, start date, end date, and allocated time. Okay. So if you want to create a new one, you can simply click on create and it will be created inside the list itself. So here you can choose the resource, the role, the project, if whatever she or he is working on, and you have the sale order item, and here you can set that start and end date. Okay, so that's how you schedule a resource inside the list view. Then you have the Kanban view. Okay, so this is the Kanban view. So in each card, you will get the date, the time, the role, and whether it's published or not. Okay, if it's in draft state, means it shows draft, as you can see. Okay, so that's the Kanban view. So under Kanban view also, you have the option to create a new one. Okay, so this is actually the one which we saw while we created a shift inside the Gantt view. So I'm not explaining it again. Then you have the pivot view, so which is actually a table view. You can simply flip axes from here. Then you have the option to expand all and also download the XLSX. Then here you have the measures. So you can add measures corresponding to your need. So I've added progress, and if I'm adding allocated time percentage, that can also be seen here. Then we have the graph view. Okay, so under the graph view, you have the resource here. And if you just take a look at the measure, you can see the allocated times there on the other hand. Okay, then you can change it. So I'm adding progress. So currently it shows the progress. If you want to see the working days, you can see that from here. Or if you want to get the count, you will get the count here. Okay, so here we have the line chart and also the pie chart. And then you have the stacked view, the descending order and the ascending order of the same. Okay, so these are the main views which comes under schedule by resource. Now next under schedule, you have schedule by role, which is also the same, but the only difference is that it will be based on different roles. So as you can see, undefined roles, you have these much, resources. And under the community manager, you have these much. And corresponding to each role, how many open shifts are there will also be displayed here. Okay, you have the option to plan order. You have the, option to create new one, today, previous, and the next one or the future one can be viewed from here. And you have the option to choose day, week, month, or year. Okay, and if you want to expand the rows, you can do that. And then if you want to collapse the rows, that can be do that. So the rows are collapsed right now. I'm expanding it. Okay, so that can be done here. And if you want to copy the previous week's one, that can be done here, and also the option to publish. So everything is same. The only difference is that this is arranged in such a way that it is corresponding to roles. Okay, then you have the calendar view of the same. See, this is the calendar view. Okay, then you have the list view. Okay, so under list view also you can see continuity tester. That's the role, and under that what all comes you can see. Okay, then you have the Kanban view. Okay, so this is the Kanban view, and this is the pivot view. And finally we have the graph view of the same. So this is the graph view. You can see the role. Okay, you can see the allocated time. Okay, and all. Now you have the line chart and also the pie chart. Okay, that's the schedule by role. Then you have the option to schedule by project. Okay, you can schedule it by project. So on the top, we have the same things which we saw right before. Okay, now here you have the projects here. So undefined project, the sale service project, and certain sale order, the office design project, renovations and all. So corresponding to each project, shifts corresponding to each project can be displayed here. Then this is the Gantt view. So if you just take a look at the filter, this is the same thing which we saw in schedule by resource. So I'm not explaining it over and over again. And then you have the calendar view. So here you have the resource. And if you simply scroll down, you can see the role here. And here you can see the published ones and the draft ones. So this stripe indicates the ones which are still in draft state. So if you publish it, that stripe will be gone. And you have the list view. Okay, so this is the list view where you have resource, role, project, sale order item, start date, end date, and allocated time. You have the Kanban view Okay, so this is the Kanban view, the pivot view, and the graph view. This is the graph view. You have the line chart and the pie chart. Okay, so that's by project. Then you have by sale order. That's the last menu under schedule. Okay, so by sale order, you can see schedule by sale order. You have the same buttons and all here. The filter, group by, everything same. The only difference is that there you can see it corresponding to sale orders. Okay, so different sale orders can be seen here. You can see the reference. Okay, and the shifts corresponding to each of these sales order is shown here. So here also we have the calendar view. Okay, so this is the calendar view, the list view, and then we have the Kanban view, pivot view, and the graph view. Okay, so that's the schedule option. Next we have my planning. So you will get your planning. Okay, so here I am Michelle admin. Okay, so here the results will be favoring Michelle admin. So you can see the open shifts under Michelle admin's department, and here for Michelle admin which all shifts are assigned can be seen. Okay, if I'm clicking on any one of these, clicking on edit, okay, you can see this is an open shift. I can simply choose whatever the resources and save it. So I'm closing it right now. Okay, so this is your planning, and this can be seen in different other views such as the calendar view, the list view, Kanban view, pivot view, and graph view. Okay, so these are the things. Then that's my planning. Okay, then you have the reporting section where you have so under the reporting you have the planning analysis, and here you will have the pivot as well as the graph view of the planning which are done yet. So here you have the dates, that is different months, and you can see the allocated working hours and working days corresponding to each month. Okay, so you can easily flip access from here, expand all, and also download the XLSX. If you want to insert this into spreadsheet, you can simply click on insert in spreadsheet, and then that can be inserted. Okay, then you have the graph view of the same where you have the start date, and if you just take a look at the measure, this will be the working days. If you want to change it, you can choose the measure from here. Then you have the filters and the group by. So that's the reporting. That's the main things which comes under reporting. And under configuration, you have settings, employees, materials, roles, and shift templates. So let's begin with shift templates. If you click on shift templates, you can see the different templates. So while you are assigning a shift, they are asking whether to save it as a template. So if you're saving it, that will be shown here. So simply click on new. You can set the planned hours. So I'm putting 5 to 8. Okay, so that's the working hours, and the duration, this is the number of working hours will be taken there. Yes, 7. So that's the planned hours. Duration will come here. Okay, so you can set the duration. And you can set the role here, whatever the role is. So I'll put community manager. And if you want to add a project, you can add that from here. Save it, go back. You can see the 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. community manager. Okay, so that's the shift template which we used. So while adding a shift, you can use this template. Okay, now if you go to configuration, you have roles. So here you can, add roles. Currently, we have developer, community manager, management, tester, IT technician, work planner, and so on. So if you want to add a new role, click on new. Here you can give the role. So if I'm giving the role like teacher or something, that's the role. And here you can add the resources which are working under this role. So I'll put Anita, Oliver, and then I'll put Abigail. So you have 2 resources under this role. And if you want to add service, you can add that, also a color corresponding to this. So I'm adding a color here. Okay, so that's done. So this is how you add roles. Now, if you go to configuration, you have materials. So under materials, you have the, all kind of materials like the toolkit, laptop, drill station and all. You can add materials by clicking on new. So I'm adding a material called crane. So this is the company and the working time. Okay. Now under configuration, you have the employees. You can see all the employees here. And if you want to add a new employee, you have the option to add new. Okay. So here you can give the employee's name, the job position, and also if you want to add the resume of the employee, you can add it here. Okay. You have the work information here, the private information, okay, and the HR settings. So under HR settings, you can set the PIN code and badge ID and all corresponding to the employee. Okay. So let's go back. And under configuration, you have the settings. So under the settings option, you have allow an assignment. So if you just check that allow an assignment, what happens is that before the deadlines, that is deadlines 5 days before beginning of the shift. So before 5 days, if you want to unassign any of the shift, it should be minimum before 5 days. Okay. Only then you can, unassign it. Otherwise, you can't do that. Now you can simply save it. So that's the thing which comes under the planning module. That's all we have for you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.